Hey y'all, welcome to my channel, Be the Change, Change the World, where it's not just a nice idea, but it's an initiative and a lifestyle. Welcome or welcome back, whichever the case may be. I appreciate y'all for being here and for supporting my channel in all the ways that y'all do. Thank you so much. Everything you need to know about me is in the description box below, including my legal disclaimer. My email address is down there if anybody wants to reach out for any reason, including personal readings. So yeah. And just going to go ahead and get started. So this reading is going to be for Capricorn because, yeah. So last week I did a reading for Virgo. The week before I did a reading for Taurus. And then this week I turned around and did another Virgo reading. I was quite tired, and I don't regret it because, you know, it was the most important message that needed to come out, and Virgo really needed to have a reading this week. But I should have really decided that it was Capricorn's turn for the reading and not do Virgo again. But I'm not going to delete the video because people needed to see it. I'm just going to cater to my Cappies out there who need to hear a word of some kind, you know, to help them with their path and their journeys, or help you in your path and your journeys. So that's what I'm just going to do. Make it right to my Capricorn collective here. So I'm just going to go ahead and get started. You can have Capricorn anywhere in your chart for this to resonate, and vice versa. You could be dealing with someone who has Capricorn somewhere in their chart for this to resonate. This will especially resonate if they have Capricorn somewhere in their sun, moon, rising, Venus, Jupiter, and sometimes the Mars planet. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go to cafeastrology.com and you can put in your birthday, your time of birth, and where you were born, and we'll come up with the whole birth chart for all what sign you are for each planet and where those planets are placed in your birth chart. It's to help us understand ourselves better. And that's part of the reason why my channel is here. So, anyhow, without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and start pulling some cards for Capricorn. What are the most important messages for Capricorn and their cross watchers? Please and thank you, Holy Spirit. What are the most important messages for Capricorn and their cross watchers? Don't stop. Came out in the reverse. So I think someone did stop something. They weren't supposed to stop. I'm going to pull one more card for Capricorn, cross watchers. Please and thank you. This one. There's something better. I feel like you don't think that there is something better. And so you've actually stopped doing something because you feel like this is the best that there is, perhaps. And that's just unfortunately not true here. Let's pull some cards and we'll figure out what this means here. What are the most important messages for Capricorn and their cross watchers? So we've got the Ten of Swords here. This is an ending. This could be an ending to a relationship through betrayal or pain or just different hardships here. But it's an ending. And with endings come new beginnings. And there's a reason why something has ended here, because there's something better here. There's something better here for you. There's something better here for others. Let's find out more about what's going on here. Most important messages for Capricorn and their cross watchers. So you got Temperance and the Ten of Pentacles. So this is really all about how you can strengthen your weaknesses and how you can learn from this situation. This could be the ending of a marriage or a family situation with the Ten of Pentacles here. And what was in between between this ending of this legacy, this marriage here, is we got Temperance in the middle of it. There needs to be temperance and moderation in all relationships in our life. If we are not able to manage our emotions or anger in any kind of a constructive, moderate way, if we're acting in extremes behaviorally, it's always going to lead to an ending. And I feel like perhaps someone's been avoiding the ending of this for a while here. I feel like there's like this, someone's trying to put out the optics, like they want to appear as though they are temperate with their emotions, more balanced in how they're showing up here, in order to maintain or achieve this financial stability, whether it's real or perceived. There's like this feeling of like playing a part of a role that isn't suited to you, because someone's not able to sustain this moderation. There's like this element of obsession or some kind of a dependency here. This could, and I was talking about this in the Cancer reading. The obsession and the dependency in that reading was emotional regulation from another person, as well as practical matters like finances, and so depending on relationships for stability, for emotional regulation, it's always going to lead to the end, because it is not another person's responsibility to regulate our emotions for us. We should be able to do that ourselves, and it is not anyone else's responsibility to take someone else's crap and then they just, give out, support of all kinds, emotional and financial support for what? I mean, that's just like a lot of work and pressure on someone. And we got the Eight of Cups here. This is about walking away from that. It's about walking away from the behavior, whether this is walking away from yourself, and whenever it's like your behavior, that, replacing that with a different behavior. There is a need for that, but there is also an element of someone walking away from these behaviors, because these toxic behaviors are always going to bring about the end of any kind of a relationship here, because it's too much on the other person to deal with that burden that should have never been placed on another person, but had been unfairly. Well, or I can't even say unfairly, because it was like both parties agreed to this in some way, shape, or form, whether they agreed to it knowingly or unknowingly. But there is a need to walk away from that behavior, as well as there is a need for someone else to be walking away from someone who is behaving in this way. Yeah, Knight of Pentacles. This behavior has been going on for a long time. It's very toxic, it's very karmic, it's very cyclical. But it will always bring about the end here without moderation without someone being able to moderate their own emotions and regulate their own emotions on their own. It's always going to bring about the inevitable end, whether that happens sooner or later in any relationship here. Knight of Pentacles is something that goes on for a long time here, and that's something I've already pointed out here. This is a long-standing karmic pattern of betrayal and pain and hardship, all because of a deficit in emotional and financial regulation here. So we got the Fool and the Moon here. I feel like this is definitely connected to the Cancer reading. So whoever this is resonating with will also resonate with the Cancer reading as well. The Fool, that is taking a leap of faith into a brand new beginning. This is not something that you want to do here, but it's going to be scary here with the Moon. This is like being afraid to take that leap of faith because of the subconscious fears and the subconscious wounding and the person's insecurities about themselves. Like, they're just so afraid to face that within themselves that they don't want to see anyone go into another new direction here. This is really giving like the fear of abandonment. But the abandonment cycle is present here. It's present, it's vicious, and it's like your worst fear of abandonment, and moving on past the end here is what's keeping someone bound in this karmic toxic cycle here. And it's really that intense fear that keeps triggering the insecurities and the emotional woundings. Whenever someone walks away, that's whenever they work harder to salvage these relationships. But that's really counterintuitive to the way relationships are really supposed to be. The work and effort is supposed to be made in consistent relating with one another in very healthy ways. But there is the actual opposite of that here. There's really no relating until someone's unhappy and they're wanting to leave and walk away and start on a brand new journey without them. That's whenever all those fears and those insecurities from their subconscious come right back up to the surface. And this is what keeps someone operating in their wounds. And it's causing pain. There is something better than this toxic cycle here. And it's really, what's better is freeing yourself from this toxic cycle, because this toxic cycle is so incapacitating with this fear, with this subconscious fear that is really like triggering like these wounds of saving relationships when they're really over. There's nothing to salvage here. But that's whenever someone just goes into overtime here and tries to get the person wanting to walk away from them emotionally and physically to just have a brand new start with you or them again. And it's all fear-based, right? And this is really no way to operate. We got the Seven of Swords in the reverse. Seven of Swords in reverse is Seven of Swords in the upright is about self-deception. You have to lie to yourself in order to project a lie to others. The Seven of Swords in reverse is all about whatever you lied to yourself about has come to the surface. It's become apparent to other people. This is behavior that's wanting to win at all costs here. And this is behavior that's deeply ingrained in someone, and it is deeply rooted out of fear and abandonment that keeps this perpetual cycle going. And it keeps this perpetual cycle going with the World in reverse. It just keeps going and going and going. This is keeping that cycle from closing by any means necessary. And and this is a Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. So this is somebody who has Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn somewhere in their chart. This could really resonate with someone who has a Capricorn moon, but it could be any of the three earth signs. But the Queen of Pentacles in reverse is someone who they're not stable, they're not consistent, they're not compassionate, they're not loyal, they're not grounded, they're not abundant, and this is someone who depends on the abundance of others in their life. And this is like a deep wounding here. This is someone who doesn't know what they're capable of with their career or their home life, and it's because they've never been given the opportunity to explore these areas. This is like adapting, but this is not really creating. Okay? So the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, this is adapting to situations to keep them perpetually open. The Queen of Pentacles in reverse indicates there's a money wound here that is present, as well as the emotional wound that I tapped into as well. And as long as someone maintains this toxic karmic cycle with themselves and with others, and keeping that abandonment wound, like slapping that band-aid on the abandonment wound whenever someone else wants to walk away. This is like a long-standing pattern of behavior that is maladaptive and toxic. It's rooted in fear, and it keeps people blind. It keeps people stuck. It keeps people from making decisions. It keeps people from moving forward when and going into the brand new beginning and not wanting the end to end. And this is not making decisions that should be made and staying blind to what the real underlying reason is. Yeah. And staying like trapped in your belief systems about it. And this is someone who has a strong belief system surrounding this, and they also have strong behaviors surrounding this belief system, that they use relationships for emotional and financial stability, and it's very one-sided. And whenever the other person is sick of how things are going, because this is a very painful dynamic, there's a lot of betrayal here, there's a lot of lies and a lot of secrets, a lot of fears, a lot of people acting from their fears. This is how this person is trapped in the cycle, and this is how they wish to impose that cycle upon another whenever they're walking away here. This person just wants to keep the toxic cycle open to meet the deficits of their perceived needs here with this Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. This is not somebody who is good wife material with the Queen of Pentacles in reverse with the Ten of Pentacles in the upright. This is like someone who is constantly pining after the financial support and gain of what a marriage has to offer, while not respecting that marriage. They don't add anything to that marriage except for pumping fears, keeping secrets, and dare I say lying, because it's just gonna keep coming back around to the end. And how many times is someone gonna go around this circle with you or whoever this person is before they get tired of it? I see that they're tired of it. There's the Ten of Swords here. There's the Eight of Cups here. There's an actual fatigue of staying in this cycle with someone else that is deeply entrenched in these belief systems and ways of behaving that are rooted out of fear and insecurity. Oh my. So definitely, please check out my my Cancer reading, and probably the Aries reading too, because the Aries reading is most likely going to be about the other person wanting to go in this new direction, away from whoever this Queen of Pentacles in the reverse is. A wife, a baby mama, ex-wife, a mother in general, a partner. So, yeah, that's what this is here. This is the relationship from fear that never wants to end. Wow. I'm just going to go ahead and pull a card from the Archangel Michael Oracle to close this up with guidance. Because this is someone who is going to take this seriously and close the cycle and stop this pattern of behavior, or they're just going to keep going. Ew. Admit the truth to yourself and act accordingly. There's a real problem with that, with whoever this Queen of Pentacles is in the reverse. It could be you, Capricorn. It could be someone else. But the truth is that you're not treating people right in your relationships. The truth is you feel trapped in your belief systems. You want to trap someone else in your belief systems that are full of fear and full of deception here. And this is really like an illusion that you have not acknowledged to yourself, and therefore you refuse to acknowledge it with others. But the truth is this situation is dead. It's done. It's over. This other person's leaving. There's nothing that you can do to stop them that's healthy. You're going to have to stop the pattern. And that's how you act accordingly, to stop the pattern. This is stuff that needs to be addressed and acknowledged within you, so you can work on healing these things, so that when these things are healed, you can take the initiative to do the opposite of what you've always done. It's going to be hard work, especially whenever it involves deficits in making money, or deficits in compassion and how you relate to others, especially in your home and family. Deficits in loyalty in your behavior. This is just something that you're going to have to admit to yourself and break the pattern. And the prayer for it is, I appreciate your support in helping me face my feelings with grace and acceptance, so that I can be lovingly honest with myself and others. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for giving me courage and strength. So that's exactly what this person needs. They need to face their feelings. They need to face their feelings with grace and acceptance. The grace is this is what they've always known, and acceptance is it's not going to work. It's not going to work anymore. It's a maladaptive behavioral coping strategy that you're plainly seeing as isn't working. And the only thing that's making it work and fueling it is belief systems pumped full of fears. And those belief systems that are pumped full of fears are directly related to marriage, assets and finances connected in marriage, and how you obtain your money in marriage and how you obtain your money outside of marriage. So this is all connected to all of that. So there's a real need to be lovingly honest with yourself, like not being very harsh and critical of yourself, because the world can be very harsh and critical of you for behaving in this manner. I mean, because to be honest with you, behaving in this manner is completely unacceptable. And nobody should be behaving in this way, but despite that, people are still doing this anyway. And this is all about calling upon the angels and God to help you move forward with courage and strength to do things that are different. You're encouraged to react and respond to the endings of your relationships in a completely different way. You're being asked to stop promoting your belief systems full of fear regarding marriage, home, and family upon another person, to keep them trapped in a commitment that they don't even want to be in. This is like continuing an obligation that never wants to end. An obligation from hell. You're not happy. This other person's definitely not happy. And there's a real need to just stop behaving in these ways. It's worked for you in the past to hold on to relationships that, benefit you in some way. But it's really getting to the point where it's not working anymore. It's maladaptive because it keeps cycling back to the end, like this person wanting to leave. And this has probably happened multiple times before. And out of desperation, that reaction is to be like projecting like these belief systems that are full of fear, and also keeping secrets and using deception of yourself and the deception of others, to keep them relating to you in this way. And this is not how you want to show up in the world. So perhaps coming from this from a compassionate but from a standpoint of like results oriented, like this is what you can focus on to expand. This is what you can focus on to heal, to grow, to get past this miserable situation that keeps perpetuating itself, that you keep perpetuating it to continue in the manner that it's been continuing. There's something better than this, but because of your fear and your belief system that is so entrenched in this fear regarding marriage and family and the contractual agreements of those, this is really debilitating everybody in this situation. And there really is a better way of living life than this, than to keep this going and going and going out of fear, because it's keeping you trapped and miserable in a situation that everybody's trapped and miserable in. And relationships should be about freedom and not restriction. And this is all about restriction. There is no freedom in restriction. And the more restrictive our relationships are, the more trapped and consumed we are by them. And the more that we're trapped and consumed in the deception that goes along with that. So this is really a time of just being honest with ourselves and being like, hey, I really don't want to continue in this pattern anymore. I want to learn a new way of being. And this is the segue into someone who, if this reading resonates with you, you should be reaching out for mental health support. Because if you only know this toxic way of interacting with others, you're going to have to learn a new way of interacting with others in a more healthy way, in a way that is more nurturing and compassionate towards yourself and to others. But this is all about someone who is miserable and they're lying to themselves to hold on to this miserable situation because of fears connected to their belief systems about marriage and finances and assets and possessions and all of, and this is even tied in with their self-worth. And with the Queen of Pentacles on the reverse, their self-worth can't be very good because, you know, they're not actively contributing to this Ten of Pentacles. They're just kind of leeching off of it. So don't shoot the messenger. This is another very tough reading, but it was very necessary. And you know, this is honestly someone who's naturally going to feel triggered by their fear and their belief system tied to, you know, marriage and everything associated with it and the legacy of marriage. It's just going to keep someone operating from their wounds if they're not willing to be honest with themselves, willing to admit the truth to themselves and act accordingly here. And that's just how it is. This could show up in any aspect of your life. It doesn't necessarily have to be a marriage that this is relating to. This could be relating to your professional life as well. But this is however you show up professionally or in marriages or committed relationships, this is how it's going to pertain, if it pertains at all. So that's what I have for y'all Capricorns. And I'm sorry that if any of y'all felt like I skipped y'all this week and kind of did you dirty by, doing Virgo twice. It was unintentional. And when I realized my mistake, I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to make this right and do a Capricorn video. So that's what this is. This is probably not something that you really wanted to hear, but it's something that you needed to hear. Time to be honest with yourself. Can you do that? That's really what the struggle is. It's really just, it's time to look at yourself in a whole new different way. And this is really about looking at your behavior and your belief systems and how you execute those belief systems that you have rooted in fear, to keep perpetuating a karmic cycle in your life. So that is what I have for y'all for this week. I really hope that y'all take this and run with it. I mean, that is my hope and my prayer, because there's something better than this. And this is like the devil that you know situation. You want to stay with the devil you know than the devil you don't know. And really, the devil that you don't know is really not the devil. It's really just about facing your own shadow. And stop making excuses for yourself, and stop behaving in a way that you're ultimately not proud of. And you're obviously not proud of how you're behaving, because there's attempts here to cover it up with manipulation, belief systems, and deception, and using fear and illusions to keep it hidden. So there's that. That's intentional. And so it's going to have to be intentional for you to do the opposite of that, to go against the ways that you're used to operating in. And it's for your own good. There really is something better than this karmic hamster wheel that you're on. And I'd just like to close this by thanking everybody again for all of their support and all the ways that y'all do. I appreciate y'all so much. Drop a comment if you're interested in a free reading from me in mid-May. And I'll be offering free readings for some time, the middle of every month. So if you don't make it for mid-May, there will be other times that will be available. So I hope everybody receives the message, and it inspires y'all to make that change. If you secretly deep down want something better, you're going to have to admit the truth to yourself and behave differently than what you're used to behaving in. I'll talk to y'all soon.